FATENZO.com. 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 FATENZO.com.
Oh, good morning.
Happy Wednesday. Happy Hump Day.
Happy Hump Day.
Good morning.
And happy Wednesday of the 13th week in ordinary time.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I haven't even heard your levels yet, Chris. Talk?
Yeah, good morning. How's it going?
Good. Okay, that sounds good. That sounds good.
Yeah.
We can work with that, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while since we've seen each other.
That's right. You're all the way up on your volume and everything?
Yeah, I'm all the way up. It's just through my phone, so it's as good as it gets.
Oh no, okay. I didn't have my volume all the way up, I don't think.
You didn't? Oh, you didn't?
No.
Oh, okay.
All right, now I think I'm good. So yeah, so we're gonna hello, how you doing, guys? Thank you so much for joining us today. On if you don't know, this is the FATENZO show, and I'm your host. It doesn't matter what my name is. I'm a name fluid English major. I don't know what a pronoun is. I have horrible reading comprehension, and
You can read.
This is America's finest Asian sidekick. His name is Genghis Khan. That's right. And we have a guest today. We have our friend Chris Barcenas. Is that correct pronunciation, Chris?
Barcenas.
And Chris is a professional real estate entrepreneur down in Miami, and he dabbles in politics as well. He's made a name for himself doing this and that. But he has a little bit of, I think, I don't want to don't put words in his mouth, but I think that he has a similar kind of story to me. Not sure. I'm just assuming right now. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But I think you got into spirituality through Jessel Lee Peterson recently, or not recently per se, but that's how you got into it?
Well, he was part of it. He was there when I started getting interested in it. And he's, somebody I found online. Jessel Lee Peterson is he just gets to the point, cuts out a lot of the BS, which is something I like about him.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yes, I want to say a prayer for Jessel Lee Peterson, man. Hey, let's start you got that, right? You got the thing?
Yeah.
Jessel Lee Peterson. So that's the prayer list. At the end of the show, we do a prayer for everybody. We do a prayer for all our enemies and anybody who needs help, man. Because, my initial reaction with Jessel Lee Peterson was like kind of down and like kind of like felt like, I don't know. What's the word for it? Just like kind of messed over. Kind of, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Screwed over.
Screwed over, like, yeah.
I don't know what the word is.
But yeah, I get screwed over.
But we were just trusting him and stuff like that. That stuff comes out. It makes me rethink about that show more now, and
it's like
messes me up a little bit.
Mind screwy thing. It's like screwing with your mind more because it's weird. Because
it's conflicting.
Yeah.
You like the guy, but you don't know what information is true. It's still new. So,
like, how much did we believe that was just honestly like lies and not, or like how much of it that we believed was even just his thoughts, and like how like just weird. But at the same time, that's where you have to balance it. Like, take the good from the good.
But I'm glad that I naturally. That's the thing, man. I don't know why. I guess I'm not like a smart person, but for some reason throughout my life, I've like made the right decision. I'm like, certain things have happened and I did the right thing. And this is just one of those occasions where I did the right thing. It's like he got me into it, but then I don't listen to everything that everybody says. I just naturally am a contrarian.
No, yeah.
And I know, like, cause he actually teaches, no man knows anything, right? Don't listen to any man, he always says, right? Yep. And so I don't listen to him, of course. But so he lost me a little bit on the women thing, like I understand 100% like what he's talking about. Forgive your mother, go back to the father. That's true. I had an overbearing Italian mother, crazy. And she, man,
Well, that kind of
hyper focused on us and stuff, and did that for too long, and then we had to forgive her. I had to, and that helped me move. She actually told me, "Forgive me, Bobby."
I was gonna say, did she make you?
She made me forgive her on her deathbed. She made me.
Remember you?
Forgive me. I said I will. I do. So, but anyway,
and he lost you with the Catholic.
And then he lost me with the Catholic thing. He would always, but he's still open to that because I called him last week, right? And he was open to it.
He seemed a lot more open. Before he seemed like I wouldn't say he was really closed-minded like that. He was really just believing whatever he was already told. And it seemed like nobody really came to him with a good stance on the Catholic side. Seems like maybe that's what happened to him. So he became almost like, I'm tired of hearing your.
But he actually listened to me.
Yeah, because you
and
broke it down.
I explained it to him how it's because people don't understand Catholicism. Even the people that are Catholics don't understand Catholicism.
I mean, yeah, probably.
And it's meant to get you. The chanting and the mantras are meant to get you into that mode where you're basically meditating.
And I'm not a theater, by the way. I don't like when people say like the certain ceremonies, I would call it, or rituals in the Catholic mass are theater-like. No, that's not theater-like. Go to a rock concert church and you'll see what I mean. Those are more like ritualistic traditions, like to keep with the history
directly
part.
from.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like from the Bible and from whatever you call it, like tradition, just passed down, like this is how he did it, whatever.
Everything's a ritual. There's always a ritual in life, and everything you do. You could do something bad, it's a ritual. You smoke a cigarette, it's a ritual, right?
100%. I know that ritual is bad.
Yeah, but you walk your dog, it's a ritual. You do rituals. And the ritual of Catholicism that's in Catholicism is directly from the Bible. Now, I'm not sure which one of those. It's not from one of those. I don't think it's from one of those extra ones that we were talking about.
Unknown book. Yeah. I mean,
these are the standard ones, but you can find it in there. You find the direct language they use when they do the Eucharist, and it's in the Bible. And so that's and I just feel like a lot of these ministers, they're misinterpreting it or I don't know what they're doing. I don't know why. Like watching the Geno Jennings clips that we were watching yesterday. Like, why would you devote an entire service about talking about why another denomination is wrong,
or even religion in general,
or why you're talking? Yeah, the thing is, they say religion because I heard that from my friend. My friend told me that. He said religion basically is from the devil in general.
I don't know about that one, to be like, you know what I mean? I gotta let that marinate.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's right. I don't know. I mean, all I know is I find peace in doing this.
Well,
Going to mass every
the
day.
whole point as well is when you have a church, people congregate there. You're going through the same rituals. You believe in the same thing. It builds community, and I think that's what's really important and missing in a lot of our cities today, where there's a people rely on the internet to get connection when they could be going down to the church to build community with their neighbors.
And by the way, Chris, we're not going to be, on our end, we're going to be very vague about our exact locations right now and everything like that. But at some point I want to go to mass down in Miami. I can't believe I lived down there that long and I never went to mass in Miami. Are you serious? I am an idiot. Talk about community. You may imagine going to get some coffee and donuts afterwards down there. Oh my God, dude.
I guess
That would be so awesome. You'd get the best coffee, probably.
Oh yeah, definitely.
They got like great coffee.
Cuban coffee. We got some Cuban coffee.
Bro,
Yeah.
oh my God. Why have I not done that?
Actually, one of my friends, he grew up down there. You know him. I'm not mentioning names. He after church every Sunday when his mom would take him,
Yeah.
he would go to Versailles afterwards. That was just the he called it like just the family.
And I'm
tradition
just
thing.
saying going
Yeah.
after mass to their hall,
Yeah,
whatever
that would be cool too.
would be cool.
Although I mean, my only thing, I do not know Spanish. I would be,
Dude, I don't
really
care.
lost down there.
I would start
I'm just
going.
saying,
I would
yeah.
start going to Spanish mass. I don't
Yeah,
care
you
because it
don't
doesn't
even know
matter.
Spanish. Unless you're going to a Spanish mass, if you go to an English mass, you'll be fine.
I don't really. I know the mass basically at this point. I know what they're saying.
Or yeah, what they will be saying or
Yeah.
however. Yeah.
And so I would just I would know what to do and everything like that. And it'd probably help me learn Spanish.
Oh yeah, I feel like it will help you learn Spanish.
I think that would be awesome, actually, dude. I'm open to that.
Probably the best way to learn a language. Get thrown into a random country to learn.
Immersion.
Yeah,
Immersion's the best word,
yeah.
for sure.
So
Well, whatever you
we're
want to do, let me know. I'm here.
going to get into our show now. Now, what do we do? Do we properly introduce everything?
Well, we haven't.
Does
we haven't
everybody-
done the headlines?
Does everybody understand what we do here on this show yet? This show, what we do is we basically do the good news and we do the bad news. The good news is from the book. The bad news is from the world. Is of the world.
Of the world.
Yes, and then occasionally we have somebody on, and then we talk spirituality, right? So we're gonna listen to Chris's story a little bit, and we're also going to talk about two saints, dude.
Yeah, Peter.
Today
and
is a
Paul,
big
right?
big day. It's a big feast day. It's actually a big feast day. It's a holiday in Costa Rica. Did you know that? Today.
No, I did not.
Today is Saint Peter and Paul Day, because they were major, dude.
Weren't
Number
they, like,
one,
the two
they were the
top
first.
apostles or whatever.
Yeah,
you call it?
and they were the first and second popes,
Okay, yeah.
both martyred.
Hmm.
One, upside down crucifixion,
That was,
and then the other one, I believe, beheaded.
and I think that was Paul.
So anyway, we're gonna talk about that, and but first we are gonna do our creed. Now, do you have a copy of that, Chris? No.
I do. I don't know if it's going to shut off my camera if I switch to it.
Oh, okay. Don't worry about it then. Just follow along. Then I guess just listen.
All right, sure.
We're gonna let me put the cover on there. Let me put the cover on. That's too bad. I wish you could have followed. Oh well. Next time we'll have to figure that out better. Hold on one second. Let me take a sip of this and then the incense. Dude, but you should always drink the tea after the incense. You should always drink the tea after the incense. Because it coats your throat, dude.
That's why I would do it before, so it coats your throat. So it
I did both.
and you still fail.
I did. Anyway, listen. There we go. Ready?
Yep.
Okay. I believe that the freedom of speech is a universal international right. that all opinions shall be tolerated, regardless if agreeable or disagreeable. I believe in the First Amendment of the United States Constitution, freedom of expression, freedom of religion, not from it, freedom of the press, the right of the people to peaceably assemble, be it physically or digitally or virtually. I believe in the separation of church and state and corporation. I believe that truth is non-binary and can be objective, subjective, normative, or complex. There are no eternal facts, as there are no absolute truths, except the Word of God. For us creators and for our content, great thinkers have philosophized, and our founding fathers debated the dangers of cancellation and censorship for centuries. And no individual shall be indemnified of criticism or mockery, for there is honesty in jest. I pledge the ideas I share are my own and are not the expressed opinions of any violent criminal organizations. The only group I represent is the human race, and I reserve the right to interview any of my counterparts without fear, threats, or intimidation, with their opinions being their own, my opinions being my own, for association does not always equal shared beliefs. I pledge to perform in a professional, dignified manner, and to not bully, harass, or slander my fellow human creatures, to refrain from hate, anger, sedition, vulgarity, harassment, pornography, cautioning that sarcasm can at times be misinterpreted as such. I believe in the counter-speech doctrine, that the remedy to negative, harmful speech is more positive, helpful speech, not enforced silence. That no person shall be denied access to social media, which is the marketplace of ideas and today's town square, that Section 230 privatizes communism and legalizes slander, and that content creators who have broken community guidelines in the past deserve retribution because we are all constituents of the human party and humans are fallible. Amen.
Outstanding. Pow.
Yeah. What do you think, man?
It's good. Free speech is important. It's the cornerstone of this country and the free world.
It is, right? You would think that it'd be
It's under attack big time.
What do you think about privatized communism? This notion of privatized communism that I bring up.
It's definitely it's.
Do you
there's a
understand
solution
it?
to it, which is what I like Elon Musk, what he's doing with Twitter, and I haven't used True Social, but True Social would be an avenue as well. It's something that can. There's a workaround. It's not like a totalitarian government where it's you don't have an option. Hopefully there's options.
Yeah,
Right
but I understand what you're saying, but it's when it's the main one, main one that people are using, and then these companies give, so they probably pay, and donate. They donate to different
100%.
political, right, and they own all these people, right, within the Congress, and
they become almost like monopolies, and
it's what I call it the inverted or collective dictatorship, and it's all basically these private corporations, oligarchs, things like that. They all own these individual Congress people, Senate people like MTG, man, and these other people that are out there, and they're really legitimately fighting. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. I can't believe what temptation they must have had that they kept, like, wow. Could you believe that there are people that are like living little saints, basically.
Yeah, I mean, even think about
look
it.
at Trump. They banned the president of the United States from social media.
Yeah, it's
absurd.
Yeah.
Yet they let other world leaders that are much worse. Well, I think Donald Trump's good, but in their eyes, much worse than Donald Trump, to still have a voice and use their platform. So it just shows the double standard and what their intentions are.
Right. So what do you think about spirituality in the country? My here, I have like a hunch. This is my theory.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's part of the pie. There's a pie, right? I think Bill Maher was talking about that, and that's what contributes. Yeah. There's like the movies and the
social media, even probably.
Yeah, all these different things contribute to guns or whatever. But I think the major thing is spirituality. And in the Constitution, it does say freedom of religion. And I think it's of religion. It's not from religion. And it's been misinterpreted and skewed. And people are convinced that like being secular is the way to go. And not having any kind of religion or anything like that. And I just think that's not the way to go at all. It doesn't matter actually what kind of religiosity you subscribe to, but I just feel like you should subscribe to something. And there's a hole basically in the heart of America, man. And that's what enables the gun violence. What do you think?
I agree. And we were just talking about dictatorships and communism. One of the first things they do is they ban religion because they want you to have faith in government over faith in God. So when we as a country have faith in God, it separates us from the state. It separates us from. It makes us more independent as people and more cohesive as one, as like a universal consciousness.
It does, right?
The we the people statement makes more sense when everybody believes in something.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is we the people. Right now, it's like there is no separation of church and state. So basically, these people on the other side, I believe, are just the state. They have no church. So the church and the state is all kind of like one.
No, the church, the separation of church and state just means it should, to me, that the church is like a co-equal thing. It's like an equal thing too. It's right. Co-equal. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but you can, you can choose whichever church you want.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is that what they chose with, atheism, I guess, or agnosticism, whatever they would call it.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, they're just relying on the politic part, the people, the politicians, and then they're relying on the corporations because then they're trusting. Like if one brand says, "Oh, we're better because we don't support this person, or we support this person more," whatever.
Well, that's what's happening right now.
That's why
one branch, if you see, is overpowering everything else. They overpowered the executive branch all during his presidency, and then now they're overpowering the fruit of his labor. He changed the court, dude.
He did.
He laid those bricks, man. And now it's I don't know how to say it, man. He planted the seeds, and now the fruit is ripe.
Mm-hmm.
What he really did too is fortified an institution that is very important to the United States, the Supreme Court. Other institutions may be falling apart.
I want to, dude.
Supreme Court.
I'm sorry for cutting you off, Chris. They really tried to stop that pendulum, right?
Oh yeah, they totally did. Well,
they interfered and they made up all kinds of things.
The whole Capitol hearing was a scam.
No, but he got them in.
He still got them in,
it's changing everything right now. It's changing everything, and they're a co-equal branch, bro.
He installed the pump to drain the swamp.
He installed the pump to drain the swamp.
The pumps,
meaning
the three.
Yeah. No,
anyone else.
It's interesting.
He's done more than anyone else to bring back strength in our institutions for sure.
Now, did you watch any of the J6 hearing
from yesterday?
I watched the first day, and after that, I tuned in briefly, but it's one of the most boring things I've ever watched in my entire life. So if something comes up, I'll hear about it. Somebody will tell me.
Okay, well, I'll tell you right now. I was watching it just this morning. And he was there. Okay, so they were in. It was like 20 minutes, and they're talking to one of his. The girl, right?
Yeah, the former staff or something, chief of staff. Or something.
Yeah, did you watch any of it?
I watched clips of it. I didn't
watch clips of it.
Yeah, I didn't. Meaning I was doing something else, so I didn't get to focus on it.
Well, the main thing is here's the main takeaway, and it's pretty confirmed, I believe, from the people that were there.
From what I've been reading,
He
about
didn't do anything, and he had the opportunity to, and he didn't want to. He didn't want to do anything, and he actually said they were like concerned because there were chants of hang Mike Pence, and he was like basically to the effect of he deserves it, and I'm not doing anything, and so he just kind of like went to his room kind of and just wanted to be quiet, like wanted to be left alone. And then wouldn't do anything about it. So, just
that's how I took what I've heard.
it's just interesting when like when you start putting the pieces together to see all the different things that happen, and even if you were a part of that per se, you like attended that thing, you didn't know what was going on really. You're maybe just being played as a pawn or something.
I do believe that, yeah.
Drawn to Washington D.C.
Drawn by mob mentality, like.
Yeah, there was a lot going on, man.
Mob mentality, and for the amount of people that were there, it's like I would even say 1% is. There's always a couple bad apples that screw things up, but they're trying to blame it on half of the country for a handful of people, and. It's political theater. It's a setup, honeypot.
Yes, I saw this today.
What do you got?
It's coming.
Yeah, I mean, don't
never be a prisoner of your past. It was a lesson, not a life sentence.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Where did you see that? I have to ask.
Some meme. I don't want to say what social media, dude. Honestly,
I didn't know where. No, I thought.
I don't even want to say which one.
No, I thought it was.
I saw it on the interweb somewhere.
Yeah, okay. Wow. No, I like that. That was.
You want to get into some good news?
Yeah.
Let's do some good news. Let's do some good news, bro. Mass today. We were in Mass today, and we talked about the solemnity of Saints Peter and Paul. First of all, Genghis, please tell me what solemnity means. Can you please Google that, dude?
Yep.
While I'm explaining what Mass is. Peter, the head of the apostles, and Paul, the great apostles to the Gentiles, have been remembered together on this date since ancient times. Peter started life as Simon, a fisherman who worked alongside his brother Andrew. Jesus changed his name to Cephas, which is Greek for Petros, meaning rock. Thus, on this rock, I will build my church. Paul had been Saul, a Pharisee and proud persecutor of Christians. After an encounter with the risen Christ on the road to Damascus, he gave his life to preaching the gospel throughout Asia Minor. Tradition holds that both men were martyred in Rome. So, tradition holds. And another thing, by the way, today, we only talked about the New Testament. So my thing about, I noticed that Mass.
Okay, I figured out why then. No,
just because it's a feast day, right?
Yeah.
That's a special, and they're trying to explain something or whatever. And it doesn't, I don't know why. I mean, they usually will grab something from the Old Testament and try to.
They usually do.
But I guess
this one's different, I guess.
Why is that, huh? That actually piques my interest why that's different. As a noticer of patterns. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I'm looking at it too weird because it's like
then you start thinking, what's their problem? Their problem is with religion, right? And that's not directly in the Bible, maybe in the Old Testament. But it is in the New Testament.
Oh,
but it doesn't say the predecessor. It doesn't it doesn't like
set the groundwork.
It doesn't set the groundwork for a church being built, I guess. Yeah. Because that's what this all is. It's all about the one true church. Let me show you this. I got another thing that explains it.
But real quick, solemnity.
What?
Solemnity.
Yeah, solemnity, yeah.
Marked by the invocation of a religious sanction, a solemn oath.
A solemn oath?
Yeah.
A religious sanction, what?
Marked by the invocation of a religious sanction of a solemn oath. Another one marked by the observance of established form or ceremony specifically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just an observance.
Yes.
Where there's a ceremony involved.
It's basically, yeah.
Why? Okay. So why do the Catholics claim that the Catholic Church is the only one true church? The Catholic Church is the only church today that can claim to be the one church founded by Jesus Christ 2,000 years ago. Other denominations can trace their origins back to various human founders at a later date in history. The question to ask yourself is, how old is your church? In Matthew 16:18, Jesus said to Peter, "And I tell you, you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the powers of death shall not prevail against it." Jesus handed the authority to guide the church in his name to Peter and the apostles, to be passed down through the centuries. The church is the body of Christ. Christ established only one church, one body, so that there would not be multiple bodies with conflicting doctrines. After all, God cannot contradict himself. Christ also wanted his church to be visible so all may see that the church is indeed one, just as Christ and the Father are one. This one visible church with divine authority and consistent doctrine that Christ established 2,000 years ago is the Catholic Church, the pillar and foundation of truth. As Paul asks in 1 Corinthians, is Christ divided? No, that is not what the Christ intended. So he established the one church. Yeah.
That's something that drew me. Well, I was baptized in the Catholic Church as a baby, but as I got back into religion, I went to a bunch of different churches. I talked to different people to see where they go and just see what was going to work out, what drew me in. And the Catholic Church being the oldest church is something that appealed to me. I think it's important to have something with tradition, and I just like something that's like raw in a sense, something that's original.
What's your background,
something,
Chris? Did you say you were baptized Catholic?
Yeah.
Originally, like when you were growing up.
Originally, yeah.
And then you got back into it later.
Yeah, much later on.
When you
just grew up, I went through the same thing we were talking about before. I went through the public school system in Broward, super liberal, super. They almost make you feel bad if you bring up religion. So it was very secular.
They did. They made you feel bad if you brought up religion.
It's just something that's not taught, and then if it is brought up, it's like, oh yeah, well, everybody, they just kind of it's very light. And I grew up in a Jewish neighborhood, so.
That's right, yeah, because of course there's a lot of Jewish people in Miami.
No, it's in Broward.
Broward. My bad. Well, in the South Florida area.
South Florida for sure.
Yeah, in general.
Now, one thing about Catholicism I find is, and I know that we're not doing it today, but we usually on every Mass we cover the Old Testament first, and then we do the New Testament is the second reading.
Yeah.
So it kind of messed up my whole thing, like of why we say thanks be to God, and then why we say praise be to Lord Jesus Christ. It messed up I was thinking logically on why we do that, and I guess there is no logic behind it.
Well, again, though, I remember what we learned, too, about John the Baptist, how it fell. It was supposed to really fall on the feast day of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. That's when it was supposed to be.
They changed it.
I feel like today might be a similar thing, being that it's such an important feast day of two influential, important people.
I guess we could find that out right now. Hold on. Let me do that. Hold on. Let's just go into this and get this out of the way. We'll find out about St. Peter and St. Paul. Hold on one sec. But but while I'm setting this up here, Chris, though, continuing with your story there, you went through it right in Broward. You grew up secular in the public school system, right? And exactly. but your family originally were Catholic, right?
Yeah, my mom's side's like Italian American. My dad's side's from Cuba, so it's like Catholicism. It's on both sides, and that's just what what I was baptized that way. But I used to go to church for like Easter once a year maybe, and that was it. So it was
similar story to me, right? I mean, but not completely. I went to Catholic. I was actually, forced into Catholic school my entire life. But anyway, but I understand. You have the background there. The background it's like nice. It reminds you of family. It reminds you of growing up.
Sentimental.
And in probably about 20 years, ever since school. Oh, I forgot all about my tea, man.
I did too.
Ever since graduating high school, man. I mean, really, I'm thinking about it right now. Probably 25 years, dude. I was really not very, I would just go randomly, maybe Christmas or something like that or whatever. Once or twice a year, maybe.
Okay.
Until about 2 months ago.
2-ish, yeah.
And it was all Jessel Lee Peterson, man. Jessel Lee Peterson really, the way that he discusses Christianity, it makes a lot of sense to me. That's all. It just makes a lot of sense. Regardless of his background, whatever he's doing, a clock is always right at least twice a day.
Yeah.
So that is that what I took away from that, and I'm going to run with it. And it was just such a valuable thing to learn. Mm-hmm. And you helped me, man, because the sacrifice thing, you helped that.
Oh yeah. Because
it's just like what is it? E equals MC squared. Einstein thing.
E equals MC squared.
Just like that, dude. There's elements that create this arithmetic, and it's meditation plus spirituality, which is only attained through sacrifice, because you have to actually do the work and do it. You got to actually go in the prayer closet if you want to, whatever you want to do. I go to mass. Mm-hmm. But those two things going together equals peace. That's the main thing that you're getting out of this. Okay. You're going to put the work in, you do the work, you put in the work, give it at least half an hour, 20 minutes, if you want to do it on your own, like Jessel Lee Peterson talks about, that's correct. Shut off your mind, do the silent prayer. All of that stuff's true. When I'm at Catholic Mass, or you can go to Catholic Mass, you can look up if you're in a major metropolitan area, the chances are you have a Mass at every single time, dude, that you can think of. You can work it into your day. And then you go to work. You go to Mass and you go to work. And I'm like, wow, this is such a valuable thing. And I can't believe that this is so awesome that this is available to us for free.
Yeah.
Wherever you go, you don't have to go to a yoga studio. You don't have to go to a whatever. You don't have to pay any money. You just go there and you hear the bell bing and you go through the tradition and you close your eyes and those mantras that you say, those are mantras, man. You pray to Mary. It's an intercessory prayer. We're saying, can you please pray for us? We're asking her to pray for us. If you believe that we're all spirits, and if you truly believe in the Holy Spirit comes into you and you're born again. If you believe that we're all spirits, and you yourself ask your friend or your family to pray for you, right? What's the difference between if they are living or deceased? You think that spirit goes away, right? Because then you're not a Christian. You're not a Christian, so you're lying. Yeah. You're faking it. Because what we believe is that you can speak to them. It's like telepathically, it's spiritually. You're doing it through
energy,
prayer, whatever you want to say. It's not. We're not worshiping anybody but God, one God. The Trinity was there to explain what God is. It's not to be taken literally. Okay. It's the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Look at the Old Testament. That's the Father. Look at the New Testament. That's the Son. And then then the Holy Spirit comes down in the New Testament, comes into the world, and then you become God. Because if you become good and you truly become good, and you really do you become born again, whatever you want to say, whatever you want to call it, you can do that.
The Holy Spirit is something you can recognize in people too. Some people you talk to and you can tell they're just completely dead inside. They have no they have a low level of consciousness. What it really is.
Those would be
they're
liberal stupidiots. Yep.
They're a low level consciousness for sure. Generally they think they're not. They think they know it all. But yeah, you can tell when you speak to somebody and they just have a sense of emptiness or coldness that it's intuition. You can pick it up on somebody. And sure enough, if you talk to them and dig a little deeper, it'll come out. But yeah, it's a thing that's there. It's not just some it's like a sixth sense. It exists. You just can't really measure it. You can't really. There's no way to
Well, one thing I
physically
noticed
measure it in this world.
at Mass, Chris, I noticed that a lot of people are really happy. And the daily Mass people that I'm friends with, Dr. Bob, he's a happy guy, man. And you could tell his energy is totally good. You could tell. It's pure. He gave me this, by the way. I totally forgot. He gave me this today. I was doing my meditation before the Mass started, right?
Tapped you on your shoulder.
And he tapped me on and he goes,
I can't push the pamphlet. Awesome.
I was like, Dr. Bob. I kept my eyes were closed. He's awesome, man. Italian dude. And surgeon who used to
I think he said neuro.
did a little. I don't know what kind. He said he said he was familiar with my dad's cancer that he had. So I think he said something about.
I want to say he said something around neurological. I did something in that field. I don't remember though.
But this is okay. So heaven, hell, and purgatory, according to passages from Diary of Saint Maria Faustina Kowalski. Yeah. This leaflet is designed to help the reader reflect on life after death. The truth of these states of life after death is well addressed in the Catechism of the Catholic Church. In the Catechism, see especially number 1022, which covers the subject of the soul's eternal destiny at the time of death. Each person receives his eternal retribution in his immortal soul as the very moment of his death, in a particular judgment that refers his life to Christ, either entrance into the blessedness of heaven through a purification or immediate and everlasting damnation. A selection of passages from the Diary of Saint Maria Faustina Kowalski on these states of life after death are reproduced in this leaflet. This saint was our Lord's secretary and apostle of divine mercy. I don't know, man. Listen, would you rather be, this is what I say a lot. Would you, and I'm going to say this more often. Would you rather be in an organized religion or a disorganized religion? Because in my opinion, that's what these other things are. They're disorganized. Who's to say that? I hear JLP interview people all the time on his show. The Fallen State. He interviews women who are preachers who became preacher after one day or something like that. They just said something. This one person said this. I couldn't believe it. Spoke in church and they go, "You should be a preacher." And then she goes, "Oh, I just did it." Yeah. What?
What do you mean you just did it? Like what? You just
I was like, what are you talking about? So the one thing that you can always count on with Catholicism is these people take it seriously, man. I went to school, Chris. I went to Catholic school, right? I had 3 kids in my immediate, like one in my grade that I went to school with since 4th grade. Who I knew was since a kid. Okay, he was a really good friend, and I'm going to have him on here soon. Another guy in my brother's grade. And then there's another one, but it escapes me. I told you. Yeah, there is somebody else though, because I remember thinking, oh wow, I know 3 people. I forgot there's another person, but that became priests. It's just crazy to think, man. And I never thought about Catholicism like that. Is this a weird thing to be doing? Is this a weird thing? My parents were I just took it at face value that this is what it is, right? But now since doing this show, since getting back into it, I just always thought Christianity was Christianity. I thought it doesn't really matter. I thought that I was a Christian and the same, whatever all the Bible thumping things, whatever it is, I'll listen to that too. And I thought we were just all Christians.
There's
And then
big
all of a sudden I
differences.
started realizing that not only there are differences, but the other, like, there's this thing that's going on, this tug of war, and this people are mad at the Catholic Church.
They're putting like a stigma on the Catholic Church for whatever reason, and I mean, maybe
Is this a new thing? I don't remember this growing
No.
up.
I mean, my theory on that one is because you went to Catholic school your whole life, so you were just surrounded by Catholics.
Yeah,
Believe or,
I did.
Yeah.
I was.
Then while me and possibly you, Chris, going to a public school, like you had all different religions. I mean, religions. Like you grew up in a Jewish area. Mine, I had not many, but there were a lot of denominations around me. So it was like always, I would hear the, if you would call them the jokes or the stigmas or whatever. But I still never, I would baptize myself and raised Catholic per se.
Mm-hmm.
So I never identified with any of those things because I always wondered, well, you're followers of Christ, so are the Catholic. Even at where I stand now, still, I'm like, wait a minute, you all believe that.
I can still get a lot out of going to another service.
Sure, yeah, you can get anything out of wherever you
Yeah.
go.
I just get the most out of this.
Yeah,
It's just the way
It's your
I'm just
familiar
wired.
language.
I'm wired like that for whatever reason. Because I was just subjected to it. So
Probably same with you, Chris. Like being both both parents had influences.
yeah, both of my family, both of my parents. That's another thing too. Like, let's say you have interfaith marriage.
Okay,
You actually had, both of your parents were.
well, kind
They're
of,
Catholic,
yeah.
right? One might not be, but the thing is, if
Yeah.
you're baptized that. Even if you're not a practicing,
Yeah,
you're still that.
Well, then, yeah, both my parents are.
Yeah,
baptized
exactly,
Catholic,
exactly. So you had that within, your background, dude.
Yeah.
That's part of your identity.
More my grandparents, like both sets of grandparents, they both were
Mhm.
both grandmothers were devout Catholic.
Not to say that you're supposed to identify with anything.
Oh yeah,
Like Jordan Peterson says, I do believe in that you're not supposed to really identify
right.
with things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done identifying with things, right? With groups.
Yeah.
The only group that I speak for is the human race at this point, right? Just like the creed talks about, and I'm sure Chris is the same as me when it comes to that.
Yeah, just what I believe is that what we're lacking in society is strong leadership and returning back to conservative values, returning back to what people naturally gravitate towards, instead of going into this twilight zone of they're really trying to dilute the sexes. There's masculinity and there's femininity, and what these people, they're like pretty much satanic. They want to make it this non-binary, where the masculine can be feminine and the feminine can be masculine, and it really dilutes this polarity that's supposed to exist. So I think that's at the core of what's going on in society as far as religion goes, and sexual polarity, I guess.
No, you're absolutely right, man. And you did hit it on the head. It's like, for whatever reason, my generation, whatever my generation is, I'm a Zennial.
Yes, yeah.
I'm the micro generation in between Generation X and Millennial.
Mm-hmm.
It's 1980. For whatever reason, man, my generation is like, I think they're, for the most part, going back to traditional stuff. Yeah,
Probably I would agree with that.
in reaction to what we saw over our lives and seeing the dilapidation of society because of no spirituality and stuff like that, we're realizing, wow, we got to actually my parents were hippies, I mean, they still were Catholics, but come on, they're hippies. You understand? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they were hippies.
Yeah.
But
They're very passive. They're very they don't want to ruffle any feathers.
I think the natural thing is to want the opposite, to get a little bit harder, not to get softer. Like a lot of these people that were brought up by soft parents wanted to get more soft. But I go, no, I don't. I see what that does. Didn't make me ready.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that more strength, being, getting in the church. I love the church because it is family, man. It's family, and there's what?
Not to interrupt you, but to your point of the softness of the previous generations from the hippie movement and all this, that also trickled into the churches and other institutions. So a major battle for Catholicism and the church is bringing back this boldness that it used to have. Look at the abortion issue that we just overcame. We have Catholics saying, "Oh, well, I'm a Catholic, but abortion's fine with me. It's not a big deal." Whatever they're gonna say, that's due to that softness where they don't have any conviction for what their religion actually it preaches, or what they don't stand behind what
They
is
don't live
supposed to
it.
be wrong.
They just maybe they just had the identity of it, and they say they're a Christian, But a lot of these denominations, man, they don't go. They just go once a week. They go on Sunday, for an hour. And geez, if they're going on a Sunday for an hour and all they're talking about is how another denomination is bad, I mean, that's insane. That's what you're. What are you getting out of that? You're not getting anything out of that.
I will attest for this. I know that other denominations, or at least in my area, the ones I explored there, they did not bash them.
Why, did you see any of that? You probably didn't see that from yesterday, but I could show it to you if you want to see it. It is pretty funny. You want to see the one? Which one do you want to see? The Trinitarian one, or hold on? It's so funny. Hold on a second.
Was it the Trinity? Which one bashed it? He was
the apostles who was sent out after his resurrection recognized God as one. None of them used the language to describe God the way religion do today. The Trinitarian theory that God is the first person and Jesus is the second person in the Godhead and the Holy Ghost is the third person in the Godhead did not come from Jerusalem, where the church started. It came from Rome, Italy.
We got to get into this right now. Let's get into this, okay? Let me talk about some apostles right now. Here they are, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Today is St. Peter and Paul Day, bro. It's a major holiday in Costa Rica.
Yep.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me show that.
I'm just saying.
Let me get the. Yeah, that's cool.
I like that.
Dude, they're
cool
idiots. They're idiots.
They're not idiots.
They're total idiots. Oh my god. Hold on one second. Let me pull that up really quick. Sorry, I didn't get that one prepped up. Oh my god, idiots. What? Come on, really? There it is. So, Costa Rica holidays. They're often based around non-secular activities. Non-secular. You know what that means? What a beautiful country, man. I love it, dude. It's all about religion. They have no army. They just want to love and peace. They live the longest there in the world. They have a blue zone there. Yeah, oh my god. You don't think that's a contributing factor? Anyway, banks, public offices, and most stores and businesses are closed during the most important holidays, such as the week of Easter and Christmas. That being said, hotels and car rentals are completely booked. Anyway, look at this. June 29th, St. Peter. St. Peter and St. Paul Day. I love it, man. I love it so much. It's so great, dude. That's what we need in this country, man. It's freedom of religion, not freedom from it. So St. Peter and St. Paul, who were apostles, and they were in the Bible, and we're going to read where Jesus talks about them. They're the ones who started the church. Okay. St. Peter and St. Paul, they're observed every year on June 29th, today. The event is the liturgical feast day that honors two martyrs of the Christian faith, St. Peter and St. Paul. Although the church acknowledges they may not have been executed at the same time, both met death at the command of the Roman Emperor Nero. The date chosen is the traditional anniversary of their death and martyrdom. The event is a significant religious occasion in Rome, and the Catholic Church in England commemorates it with a festival. Parishes around the world hold masses to commemorate the day. St. Peter and St. Paul Day are likely one of the oldest feast days celebrated in the Christian calendar. Paintings of Peter and Paul were discovered on the wall of catacombs in 2010. The images on the walls date back to the 4th century AD. The holiday is dedicated to two saints in the Christian belief. Peter was the head of the apostles, and the first pope, Paul, formerly called Saul, was a persecutor of the Christian faith, but converted to Christianity on the road to Damascus. Emperor Nero ordered the martyrdom of St. Peter and St. Paul. This event was thought to have occurred between 64 and 68 AD. St. Peter was crucified head down because he did not believe he was worthy of being crucified alongside Jesus. The cause of Paul's death was unknown, but it was widely assumed that he was decapitated in Rome. In Rome, Ticino, Switzerland, and Malta, St. Peter and St. Paul Day is public holiday. The Latin Church, England, Scotland, and Wales observe it as a holy day of obligation, while the United States and Canada do not. In 2021, the pandemic led to the cancellation of St. Peter and St. Paul Day public celebrations. Catholics were advised to celebrate at home while adhering to COVID restrictions. Coastal and island communities adore the boats. So on June 29th, Christians in coastal and island communities adore their boats and docks to honor St. Peter, who is the patron saint of fishermen. They probably do that in Costa Rica.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And they probably do it. I don't know. You gotta look up Cuba and stuff, man. And Spain and Italy, they probably do it there too. The Feast of Peter and Paul, or Solemnity of Saints Peter and Paul, is a liturgical feast. Yeah, we know that. Eastern Christianity, okay. For Eastern Orthodox and some Eastern Catholic Christians, this feast also marks the end of the Apostles' Fast, which we began on the Monday following All Saints Sunday. Do you know anybody in the Eastern Orthodox religion, Chris?
There's a church right by where I live. The closest church to me there's a couple Orthodox Catholic churches in this area for whatever reason. I've spoke with one lady that goes to a Greek Orthodox church, and I don't know much about it, to be honest.
Look, they got the Oriental Orthodox Church and the Coptic Orthodox Church and the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church. The Feast of Saints Peter and Paul is also celebrated on the day 5. What? Okay.
I've been wanting to check out an Orthodox Catholic church just to see
it's Orthodox. Oh man, this is good. Orthodox is a little different than Catholicism. I would like to check it out too. I would like to check it out as well. Let me read this little blurb right here. Western Christian tradition. Okay. Because I saw something about the Tarantella, man. The Tarantella dance. That's the big Tarantella dance, dude. That's an Italian dance. Just want to read this part. In the general Roman calendar, the celebration is a solemnity. In early editions, it was ranked as a double of the first class or first class feast. Prior to the liturgical reforms of Pope Pius XII, this feast was followed by a common octave. On this feast, newly created metropolitan archbishops received from the Pope the primary symbol of their office, the pallium. It is a holy day of obligation in the Latin Church, although individual conferences of bishops can suppress the obligation. Okay. The The Voice of the Martyrs, a non-governmental organization that aids persecuted Christians, has designated 29th of June as the Day of the Christian Martyr in honor of the martyrdom of Saints Peter and Paul, as well as the martyrs of the Christian faith. Because of the importance of Saints Peter and Paul to the Catholic Church, many Catholic majority countries also observe their feast day as a public holiday. The feast is observed in Rome because St. Paul and St. Peter are patron saints of the Eternal City. In the Apulia region of southeastern Italy, the feast of Saints Peter and Paul was associated with the Tarantella dance since the Middle Ages. Wow. It was believed that the bite of the tarantula wolf spider caused a form of manic behavior, which would result in death if the afflicted did not dance and could not be cured without the intercession of St. Paul. These panics were especially common near the feast day in the 16th and 17th centuries in Galatina, where the Basilica of St. Peter and Paul is located.
Oh, wow.
In Malta, the Solemnity is a public holiday. Okay. It's also a public holiday of the canton of Ticino, Switzerland, as well as parts of the Swiss cantons of Lucerne, etc. Okay. All right. I think we got enough of that. That sounds good. That's enough.
That was actually the name of the Catholic Church I would baptize that.
Which one?
St.
Peter and Paul?
Yep. I just had to look it up.
And then there's Peter, Paul, and Mary. That's the group.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I remember that from we talked about that, I think, on here.
Let's read some good news, man. Okay, really quick here. Hit that good news thing. Some good news. I know we already did it, but let's just to reaffirm it. And which one? We did Acts, Timothy, and Matthew, right? No
Old Testament today, huh?
No Old Testament. It's all about the apostles, dude.
That's why. That's what I'm thinking because of the solemnity of Peter and Paul.
Let me read the first, and I'll be quick because
Mm-hmm.
I know we want to get to some discussions with Chris and things.
Mm-hmm.
We got to cover the word. So.
Oh yeah.
Now, this is the reading from the Apostles, okay? They're reading from Acts of the Apostles, chapter 12. In those days, King Herod laid hands upon some members of the church. Hey, Chris, can you see that? Do you want to?
Yeah, I can see it.
You can read. If you want to read the second one, you can. I'll read this one. You read the second one. Parker can read the.
Yeah.
You want to do that?
Whatever works.
All right.
I could see it though.
In those days, King Herod laid hands upon some members of the church to harm them. He had James, the brother of John, killed by the sword. And when he saw that this was pleasing to the Jews, he proceeded to arrest Peter also. It was the feast of unleavened bread. He had him taken into custody and put in prison under the guard of 4 squads of 4 soldiers each. He intended to bring him before the people after Passover. Peter thus was being kept in prison, but prayer by the church was fervently being made to God on his behalf. On the very night before Herod was to bring him to trial, Peter, secured by double chains, was sleeping between 2 soldiers, while outside the door guards kept watch on the prison. Suddenly the angel of the Lord stood by him, and a light shone in the cell. He tapped Peter on the side and awakened him, saying, "Get up quickly." The chains fell from his wrists. The angel said to him, "Put on your belt and your sandals." He did so. Then he said to him, "Put on your cloak and follow me." So he followed him out, not realizing that what was happening through the angel was real. He thought he was seeing a vision. They passed the first guard, then the second, and came to the iron gate leading out to the city, which opened for them by itself. They emerged and made their way down an alley, and suddenly the angel left him. Then Peter covered his senses and said, "Now I know for certain that the Lord sent his angel and rescued me from the hand of Herod and from all that the Jewish people had been expecting." The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God.
Wouldn't it be Jesus?
I know.
Technically?
We did it. We didn't.
Oh.
All right, here's the second one. Chris, you could get this one if you want to. Hold on. Let me resize it.
I can't. Well, yeah.
Can't see that one? How about there?
I can see it. I can see it. Okay. Reading from the second letter of St. Paul to Timothy. I, Paul, am ready, being poured out like a libation, and the time of my departure is at hand. I have competed well. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. From now on, the crown of the righteousness awaits me, which the Lord, the just judge, will award to me on that day. And not only to me, but to all who have longed for his appearance. The Lord stood by me and gave me strength, so that through me the proclamation might be completed and all the Gentiles might hear it. And it was rescued from the lion's mouth. The Lord will rescue me from every evil threat and will bring me safe to his heavenly, kingdom. To him be glory forever and ever. Amen. The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
Thanks be to God.
You got the third one.
Yep,
This is from Matthew. Here we go.
16. Chapter 16. When Jesus went into the region of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, Who do people say that the Son of Man is? They replied, Some say John the Baptist, others Elijah, still others Jeremiah or one of the prophets. He said to them, But who do you say that I am? Simon Peter said in reply, You are the Christ, the Son of the living God. Jesus said to him in reply, Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my heavenly Father. And so I say to you, you are Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of the netherworld shall never prevail against it. I will give you the keys to the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth shall be loosened in heaven. What was it? The
Gospel of the Lord.
Yeah, the gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. All right. So what do you guys think about all these?
I mean, I feel like they're giving them history of like where they came from a little bit, like Peter and Paul, and then just talking about really how strong their faith was with knowing what happened to them, how they were martyred. Like,
do you think it's a misinterpretation? Did the Catholic Church misinterpret it by saying it's the rock and we're going to build it upon Peter?
No, not necessarily. He is the first pope also.
Like, you're not supposed,
right?
you know how JLP says you're not supposed to put any faith in a man. What about a church? Do you put faith in a church?
I mean, I think that might be where I struggle, maybe.
Yeah.
Because I kind of look at it the same as how he says it. Don't put faith in a man, whatever.
I know. But all the church is basically it's a community of people.
It is. And like you said, though, those people who lead these churches, meaning the priests, have went through their rigorous, I believe, sacrifices.
They have.
And training to be where they are. To be the messenger of the Lord, if you would call it that, like.
Right.
So it's still, though, it's still a hard concept for me to completely.
Even me too, though. Me too. You know?
It's all faith in God. Faith in God, everything else follows.
Right.
Like JLP says too, no man is good.
Yeah, exactly. I'm well.
Yeah, I'm well.
Well, how are you?
So I understand what the Bible thumper people are coming from.
I do. I definitely see.
I understand where there's. Yeah, I understand both sides of it.
I can't believe in what they believe because I use the same logic. Like,
yeah.
Well, speaking of the Bible, do you have a favorite book in the Bible? Luke
and Acts, right? Are pretty good. Did you know that Luke and Acts were were written by one person, and it comprises 27.5% of the New Testament.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that.
I know it was over a quarter.
Yep.
Yeah, I personally I love Proverbs. It's to me it's easy to, it's very straightforward. Little couple lines each one, and it's a good way to introduce somebody to the Bible. When people look at the Bible and Bible's hard to read, try to read the Bible. Start with Genesis. It's complicated. So to start off on Proverbs, I recommend that to anybody listening who hasn't read the Bible or is looking to get into it, start with Proverbs. Just pick it up and read a couple lines and see what it does for your day and for your life.
How did you come upon doing that?
I started, when I first got into real estate, I started taking all these like training programs and like different classes and stuff. And one thing that came up a lot was I noticed there was a lot of like people that they spoke about the Bible. They spoke about they were Christians, and one thing that stuck with me, people always ask, "Oh, what's your favorite business book?" And I've noticed one guy in particular said, "Oh, the best business book is the Bible." So I was like, maybe there's something to that, and I started getting into it that way. So it teaches you a lot of life lessons. It really, like, you can avoid a lot of hardship, or maybe not avoid it, but at least you're aware of it. And it's in the Bible. Some things don't change in your life and throughout human nature. Things written 2,000 or more years ago, they haven't changed at all, and they're not gonna change. So I think that's something that sticks to conservatism and showing that whatever happens in this world, parts of human nature are never going to change, and that's one thing that ties back in with society and where we're going. That they're trying to manipulate what human nature is when it's not supposed to be manipulated. It's got a purity to it that we're better off when it's preserved, and the Bible helps do that.
You're absolutely right. I actually, I found myself in the hospitals a lot last year, and then when I was there, I opened up the Bible, and I think they just like Chris says, I think they just leave it in those books. Those are good books. Those are good books, and so I think they know that people are grieving, so they specifically like leave like a bookmark right in Proverbs, right in Psalms. Also, Psalms is a good one too, because it's just all these songs, and the songs are they're just nice ways to kind of just meditate, man. And just read and just pray. And if you really don't know the whole story behind everything and stuff, and you just want to get in there and just start praying and stuff, and maybe you're going through something, that's a good way. You're right. It is a good way to get into it. But the meat of the Bible, in my opinion, are in other books. Those are good books for, I think, meditation and things like that, more.
Okay, yeah.
But I think that, like the real, like the story behind Jesus, things like that, the Old Testament, the Old Testament is the foundation of all what the Jewish faith is,
Yeah.
And so Catholicism is always hearing both. You're hearing both. You're being not subjected, but you're listening to the history. So the evolution of everything, the story is the Old Testament. This is what came before. And then Jesus came down. He was, he was born of a virgin. You know the whole story.
Yeah. We've been,
but he's this is where the Jewish faith, and the Christians diverge, and St. Peter and Paul were a part of that.
Yeah.
And they were crucified one was legitimately crucified. Yeah. The other one, I guess we assume that he was martyred, but okay.
Well, they don't know how, what was it, Peter, who was crucified upside down, they don't know how he necessarily died, but I think they were saying Paul.
No. They know Peter died yes,
Yeah.
crucified upside down. But
Yeah.
Paul
They
beheaded.
believe
They believe he was beheaded.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Right. But anyway, it just seems like people throw out all of that history and tradition. They just toss it out. And I understand why. Okay. You know, well, a lot of evolution has happened.
Yeah.
A lot of things have happened. When it comes down to it, yeah, you can just grab the book and read it for yourself. But people kept things in place for a reason, I feel, and that tradition and stuff, it just helps you to pray. All mass is a large prayer. It's a long prayer. That's all it is. And one person helps you through it. He guides you through it. And all of the elements of it can be found in the Bible. And that's so beautiful.
And speaking of what we were talking about before, just to tie it in, is the Bible in itself is it should be taught in school. It should be taught even if it's from a secular standpoint, because it's a masterpiece. It's a great work of art that should be looked into.
That's absolutely true, man. And it's discounted. We don't do that. You're absolutely right, man. It's crazy that we do that. That we don't.
Yeah.
I don't even think I learned it about the Bible
They
or
won't touch
anything
you.
Christian, even with the learning about the Crusades in school. Like, I don't think they ever dove into any of that.
Well, I don't know, man. Maybe the whole thing is fake. Let's get into bad news.
Who knows?
It's all fake, probably.
So, bad news?
Bad news now. It's probably all fake. Bad news now. It's probably all fake.
From anger. I do not like this.
I'm sorry. Let me just get rid of my anger.
Good. Now.
Look at this, dude. Early human fossils. I know it's CNN. We don't hate anybody anymore. No. Put CNN down on the list.
I'm already on it.
Early human fossils found in caves are 1 million years older than expected. Look at this. Fossils of early human ancestors from a South African cave are 3.4 million to 3.6 million years old, making them 1 million years older than previously suspected and shaking up the way researchers understand human origins and evolution. This new date makes the Sterkfontein cave fossils older than the famed Lucy fossil, also known as Dinkinesh from Ethiopia. Found in 1979, Lucy represented the species Australopithecus afarensis and lived 3.2 million years ago. The freshly dated fossils also belong to the genus Australopithecus, an ancient hominin that was initially thought to live 2 million to 2.6 million years ago. Researchers use a new technique to date the sediments of the Sterkfontein caves, which are part of the Cradle of Humankind, UNESCO World Heritage Site, about 30 miles northwest of Johannesburg. The caves included in this network have revealed details about human environmental evolution that span about 4 million years. The site is home to a treasure trove of fossils that help tell the story of human evolution, a story that seems to shift with each discovery. A new study detailing the findings was published Monday in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. The importance of the Sterkfontein caves came to light in 1936 when the discovery of the first adult Australopithecus fossil was made by paleontologist Dr. Robert Broom. Anyway, listen, what's the main takeaway though? We're older than we think. Are we just fooling ourselves going down this rabbit hole of religiosity?
I don't know, but
am I going to look back on this and be like, God, why? Oh my God!
No,
I was just so into going to mass and talking about it and trying to get people to do it. And it's all, am I really going to do that? Is that going to be me?
I don't think so, because my biggest argument with the evolution theories is, we found this missing link. Okay, well, where's that missing link between the others? Oh, you found that. Where's the other missing link? Where's the other missing link of the missing link of the missing link of? Like, you're never gonna... You're
the missing link.
Well, probably. I think the important thing too is that we as a human race, human species, is we're completely different than anything else in the world. Like the flesh may be of the world, but the consciousness is from outside of the world, I believe.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
Were we basically, I mean, we were like monkeys, right? Like monkey people. I mean, imagine seeing whatever became. Joe Rogan actually was the one who put this on. He posted this. The way he said it, if you could find it, I don't know, man, is Instagram. If you could try to find the Instagram, he says it the best. Because he writes like about this a little bit and how like, look, I couldn't imagine I oftentimes think about going back in time and seeing how our ancestors would have, been, and then blah, 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 blah. And then at the very end of it, he's like, and the answer to the obvious question, yes, I'm completely and totally annihilated or something like that. Stoned. You can't find it?
Not that one.
It's all right. It's on his Instagram.
Oh wait, yeah. Okay, this is really interesting. This is a really interesting story on the origins of our ancestors. I often imagine what it would be like to go back in time and witness our most ancient ancestors just trying to survive, knowing these will be the beings that eventually evolved into the people of today, creating technology, selling pharmaceutical drugs, and making memes. Their lives must have been so insane and violent and fleeting. The answer to the obvious question, real effing high.
Just like us, man. And we're hyped up on incense and hyper religiosity.
Basically.
Now, did these people, these Peter and Paul characters, just create this church thing that was just like a game of telephone, and the Italians got involved, the Greeks got involved, and it became, the Trinity was invented. It just got away from everything. Is it true? And I'm locked into that thinking right now.
No, because I've been looking at that Trinity thing from the guy a little bit like not different, but looking at it in another way, I guess. I guess to explain it this way, the Trinity isn't really just a description of what it's just a cycle. Is how I think more.
Yeah.
So God was first, who then created Adam and Eve, whatever, all that. Then he made Jesus, the son of him,
Son of man.
the son of man. Yeah, that's it. And to describe how that happened is basically with the Holy Spirit. Is how I'm.
Chris, do you think that this is true? That the God of the whole universe, right, is the same God, obviously, and he sent like basically a spirit form of himself in the meat body of whatever the alien planet is, and they went down, and then they showed like all the other idiots how to live.
Well,
That's just where science can come into this. At some point, all of these life develops, right?
Mm-hmm.
That incense is good.
Yeah, I know.
The life develops. Okay. And then at some point they start getting consciousness, and then they just start killing each other, raping, beating each other up. Right? Just being animals, idiots.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I think that
He goes, "Oh my God. Okay, one's ready. One's ready from the oven, God." And then, like one of his angels, okay, let's send a me down. Ready? Let's send a me down. Get the best one. Which one? Is there one that's like good? Like kind of good? Mary, okay, Mary's good. Okay. Send him down. We'll use that one as a base for the for the biology.
They're the cheese
And we'll send my spirit down there, and we'll show these heathens how to live. This is how you live. This is what you have to do. Be nice to people. Do this and that, whatever. Right? All the things. And so he does this everywhere, all throughout the whole solar system, the universe, to all the different planets
that inhabit life. And
they all receive a little hymn there. His only begotten son. What does begotten mean?
Forget. I know we looked that up before. I forgot it already.
I mean, that's the only thing that can mess up this theory.
Begot. something.
I think that if there are planets, that's what I'm thinking, man. It's that's what's going on. If there's planets with other life forms that are just as smart as us, that's what's going on, man.
So typically begotten, typically of a man, sometimes of a man and a woman, bring a child into existence by the process of reproduction.
Only. Okay, well, whatever. I mean, I'm just,
Typically of a man, sometimes of a...
What do you think about that theory, Chris?
That
totally
he
off?
sent his son down to repeat it one more time.
Okay, you're not. Well, all right.
I
It's,
heard
it's
you. I
probably
just
out
want to
there.
be
It's
clear.
probably out there. Let's continue with the bad news. You want to do your Biden one?
Yeah, I can do that one.
Let me set it up. There you go.
Okay, so President Joe Biden talking about yesterday's loss of life in San Antonio is horrifying. My prayers are with those who lost their lives, their loved one, and those still fighting for their lives. My administration will continue to do everything possible to stop criminal smugglers from exploiting migrants. Love how you didn't talk about that.
Okay, so he's got some tweets going on, huh?
Yeah, that was in response to the 40-plus dead migrants found in the back of a trailer in San Antonio, Texas.
And then you got some replies that you got here.
Yeah. So,
What will your administration do to protect the right to choose? Codify Roe, expand the Supreme Court.
I love how they're not responding to anything that the post just said.
Mm-hmm.
The next one, maybe make migration more accessible so people don't have to resort to the, I don't know, just a thought.
Just here to watch knuckleheads somehow blame you for this.
All those tweets, he has like a team or something that we want Trump back.
Yeah. And then,
but the majority, I have a feeling a lot of that stuff is scrubbed, and there's bots involved.
Of course, dude. Dissenting opinions are always immediately. I was just saying it yesterday, dude. You mean shirt?
I made a comment on a news article on Instagram about red flag laws, and 5 minutes later they said, "Hey, look, they flagged a bunch of old posts I had saying they would go against the guidelines, and they restricted my account." But it was triggered by a comment I made.
Look at that. This is again,
Oh, yeah, your Twitter suspension.
Yeah, it just continues. This was yesterday.
It's nonstop.
It'll never, you can never, there's no retribution. It's like the thing I was sharing earlier, right?
Yeah.
Where is that? There it is.
Like, I don't understand why you can't redeem yourself. But then another one that says, I speak for all Americans when I say we want Trump back in office immediately. If he was Ukraine, Ukraine would be safe. I can't believe that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
shoot! I took off the back.
If he was in office, Russia would have never invaded Ukraine to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he had a definite, kind of stonewall thing with Putin. Like, you're not going to do this. And Putin kind of knew it. I feel like he respected it, too. More people on here saying we want Trump back. Somebody talking about the January 6th committee hearing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't trust anything that happens. The news is like not trustworthy at all. And the whole thing with Ukraine, I feel like there's something else going on. Here's $40 billion. We need to give them all these military supplies and give them. It's like it's just a way to funnel more resources and mostly money into Ukraine. And then U2's going over there. There's a concert. Ben Stiller's going over there. It's like a big show. It's.
And I mean, doesn't anybody else remember when Biden had Hunter had all those ties to Ukraine, and now they're sending
Ukraine's known for corruption.
What do you think?
The money back in his pocket.
What do you think about this, Chris? The Ghislane Maxwell has been sentenced to 20 years in prison.
Oh yeah.
Now,
Yeah, I
now
think it's
somebody
good.
says,
It's with the
now
black
let's
book.
see the names in that little black book of hers and throw them in the cage with her, shall we? What do you think
What are
about
the
that?
odds that she disappears by like a week or two from now? She's
Somebody does comment on here from here.
prison guard comes in.
Yeah, somebody else called it I'm calling it now. One of the later comments in it. We'll get to that. But it does say Ghislane didn't kill herself. Calling it already.
Really?
Yeah. It's like, I think it's the last one. Yeah, the last one.
I'm calling it now. Ghislane didn't kill herself.
Yeah, people, I mean, it's already, I feel like we're never going to find those names. Like, we're never going to have the names. You know what I mean?
That is so crazy that everything, Johnny Depp, right? Johnny Depp was so publicized and live streamed and things like that, but you can't, wow. I mean, and they keep it all quiet.
Yeah.
It's just insane that it just happens, and it happens right in front of us and they don't care.
Yeah. It happens. Yeah, it happens in front of us, and the corporate media will cover it up, and anyone that goes against it online is either they shadow ban them or they hide the comments, or it's irrelevant.
Look at that
some
picture,
point.
dude. That con.
Yeah.
It's a picture of Ghislane right there in the wedding photo, man. That was not even that long ago. I remember when she got married.
Yeah.
When Chelsea Clinton got married. That wasn't that long ago, dude.
No,
you know what I'm saying? I mean, look at that.
No, and Bill looked bad in that. Just again, he looked old.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, I mean, you can clearly see.
And the fact that you
there.
don't, man.
I don't know why they want to, but we're never going to get the truth. We're never going to get the names in that book. I really, and whatever name they do decide to publish, the media, how can we know it's even the truth?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Hey,
if they do publish names, it's going to be their opposition.
Yeah. I mean,
that's
where I'm going with it, with how these people started off with saying, like, oh, what would you? Yeah, the first guy who his name is, I support Joe Biden. It said, what if Donald Trump's name is in the little black book? And then they just, like, they showed the pictures later of it, and like, okay, yeah, like, but this guy
that could be if they're trying to get Trump with this the sham committee thing that they're doing now. But if that doesn't work, which it looks like it's probably not going to work, who knows? That could be like a last resort move. I wouldn't be surprised.
Look at the.
I would not be at all.
Remember the Supreme Court judgment got leaked like that? You know?
Yeah.
Why can't they leak the list somehow?
Why
won't somebody leak the list? Because what that would change if you saw like really like on there.
Yeah.
You saw some of the people that we just were looking at and how that would change everything. Your interpretation of what's going on here.
I mean,
but
yeah.
I don't know, man.
Who knows?
Look at this about fake news. This is real fake news. This is real fake news.
Yeah, like this.
Watch this. No, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you.
Sorry.
Just like go back to what Chris said. Chris was making that comment earlier, and I should have actually went into this when he was saying that, because that would have been a good segue. He was talking about you can't trust anything.
Yeah.
Right. You were saying that, right?
From the corporate media, it's.
Look at this. This is real fake news. Watch this. Let me read this to you. This is from the New York Times.
Of course.
Oh, great.
I know, not to sit in they're the arbiters of truth or anything like that, but USA Today, they're one of their competitors. I don't know. Another
news media.
USA Today to remove 23 articles after investigation into fabricated sources. USA Today said on Thursday that it had removed 23 articles from its website after an investigation into a reporter's work revealed sources that appeared to be fabricated. The internal investigation, which took place over a period of several weeks, began after USA Today received an inquiry related to the veracity of details in an article by Gabriela Miranda, who was a breaking news reporter at USA Today. Ms. Miranda resigned from USA Today recently as the investigation progressed, according to a person briefed on the inquiry. Her most recent article for the newspaper was published on April 17th. Miss Miranda could not completely be reached for comment. A note posted on USA Today's website on Thursday afternoon notified readers of the investigation and its decision to remove articles. After receiving an external correction request, USA Today audited the reporting work of Gabriela Miranda. The note reads, the audit revealed that some individuals quoted were not affiliated with the organizations claimed and appeared to be fabricated. The existence of other individuals quoted could not be independently verified. In addition, some stories included quotes that should have been credited to others. The note added that the publication would review and strengthen its processes to prevent similar incidents in the future. USA Today held a meeting with employees over video conference on Thursday to discuss the investigation. The meeting, led by USA Today's editor-in-chief Nicole Carroll, featured a briefing on some of the problems discovered in Miss Miranda's articles and a question and answer session. During the investigation, USA Today concluded that Miss Miranda took steps to deceive investigators by producing false evidence of her news gathering, including recordings of interviews. According to the person briefed on the inquiry, one of the people involved in the investigation disputed that conclusion in Thursday's meeting with staff, saying that the people looking into her work could not verify the identities of some people in the recordings. Ms. Miranda's articles that have been removed include coverage related to Texas ban on abortion after 6 weeks, the reaction of women in Ukraine to the Russian investigation, and a guide to sunscreen. She previously covered education and the Hispanic community for the Gainesville Times. According to her website, she graduated from the University of Georgia in 2021. USA Today had a separate story fabrication scandal in 2004 when the newspaper accused a Pulitzer Prize finalist and correspondent Jack Kelly of making up stories and plagiarizing work from other outlets. Ms. Kelly resigned and later apologized. Anyway, I think that I'm not sure about this or anything like that, but this could be because there's such a trend to push
a narrative
all the time.
Yeah.
Or like always being sensationalized and getting people to buy your newspaper or get clicks or whatever, that people are just making stuff up. They're just making stuff up. They're just like this lady actually, I heard this on a Michael Knowles podcast, and he was saying that she actually like would fabricate the entire the person, the account, all the different stuff within the article just to push the narrative.
Wow.
I mean, that
typically
really
what they do is if they'll embellish something and then a month or two later they redact it and nobody sees the redaction. But when you're blatantly making up a whole narrative, a whole story, that's a whole another level of journalistic the breaking of journalistic integrity.
Exactly.
There's it doesn't exist anymore.
No,
it doesn't.
No, it doesn't even seem like there's any integrity in any of that journalism now at all.
Not at all.
I mean, and that goes for both sides, really, because they're both attacking each other like crazy. Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll say that on any side of it. Both sides right now are viciously going after each other.
But okay, so let me ask you guys a question. What would be the solution to this? And now, we read a story a couple weeks back about how social media, that's actually from Taylor Lorenz, by the way.
Yeah.
But she has a point. She does have a point. Got to give her a point on this. Now, it's even happened with social media. Social media is doing this too. They need clicks also. Things are hyper focused on. Things are taken out of context and put up and stuff like that. They did it with the Amber Heard, Johnny Depp case.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's happening with social media and the mainstream media as well. What should be allowed? Should they just allow a wild, wild west on the internet, basically, where, you have free reign, all kinds of different stories going on. And basically we would figure out as the people, just like on an intuitive level,
Like
what
which
would
is
be
true?
what's true and what's not? Do you think that would happen or what?
I mean, that's a tough one, honestly, to answer. Because I mean, I think that no matter how much a little bit of what you said before, I think yesterday, that no matter what, doesn't matter having a degree anymore, because you can basically do all the research and learning online.
Right.
So I mean, I
It
would
is
like
nice.
it where they had articles from like
Don't get me wrong,
esteemed
dude.
people.
Dude, it is nice to have an instructor in
Yeah.
front of you and tell you
Oh yeah,
things.
100%.
It's good. It is good.
I mean,
somebody who's
because-
been there before, done it before.
Just
It's
like a
awesome.
Just like a priest or
Yeah.
or what you should expect from a professor at a
Right,
college,
right.
that they were qualified to teach this,
But-
that they did their work.
As in, what's the movie with Matt Damon that they're talking about?
I don't know.
The one, where where he's smart, where he's smart,
Yeah,
where he goes to Harvard or whatever. How about them apples?
Oh.
Anyway, he learns from the library, basically, right?
Yeah.
So you could go to the library and you could learn back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have the ability to just
do it from the palm of your hand,
Yeah.
laying in bed or
Yeah.
on the couch. Yeah.
exactly. You could still do it. You could still get the education for free. You could have done it then too, but it was all about reading,
Right, because that's the whole thing. Like
doing
when
it
you
on your
read-
own.
when you read something, especially in like any literature, I think any literature, however it's written, it doesn't necessarily mean how you're perceiving it is the way it was written or was perceived by the author. I should even say it like that. Just like songs. Somebody takes one song and it's about romance and finding love. Others are like, no, it's about breaking it. It's about heartbreak. And like, how do two people listen to one thing or read one thing and have two totally different things?
Absolutely.
But that's
Look-
part of the joy.
look at the
of
Bible.
internet. But that part, yeah, and that's part of the freedom of this world. Is that I think it needs to be with journalists and even people who are going to cover things, just such as us, or any of us. As long as you have somewhere of a foundational citation, meaning us within the good news in the Bible, then with people who make reports or articles, they should have some kind of an esteemed person in that field. Meaning, don't just be plagiarizing and copying somebody's article, because then you come back to where's
Well, that's
the
how
first article.
I've noticed that being in all the stuff we were involved with, I would be more aware of how things are published, and sometimes they use an unknown source
Mm-hmm.
and base an article off of an unknown source, and then one publication puts it out, and then you see 50 different outlets pretty much copy and paste.
Well,
They'll
no,
take it and rewrite it
better way to
and
put
add
it.
another picture or something.
Yeah, better way to put it. Not
So-
saying like we or anything like that at all,
Mm-hmm.
but saying like if you are, let's say you're part of a story that's being covered in the or inside knowledge of a story that's being covered within
Right.
the media,
Mm-hmm.
and the truth
Mm-hmm.
because you were maybe had
Maybe you were also around the
part of it
incident
or whatever. Yeah, there's a lot of and that's why I say like the mafia.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I think the mafia was good. Some and got kind of out of the way because they went the way of the media and John Gotti kind of just kind of he was really all about media.
He was a public figure. I mean,
And
yeah.
that happened and what they said about them and things like that and how they portrayed them, and they became like this fantasy thing, like, and they made movies about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now you juxtapose that with January 6th,
Yep.
things that are happening right now, people that are being held as political prisoners right now, groups that were fraternal organizations that they say are violent criminal organizations, things like that. And that it's not true,
Yeah.
but they are making it,
They're pushing.
they're
that.
making everybody believe it is. And they have all of the people who are arbiters of truth. They parrot things. They're in a circle
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Steve Martin.
Steve Martin movie
what's,
of people, of idiots, stupidiots citing each
That's all
other.
they're doing. That's all I
you
feel like.
talk about certain organizations that let's, for example, just hypothetically say it's like a men's group, and the you've seen how like the Boy Scouts were attacked. You've seen anytime a
Look
group
how the
of,
church is
of
attacked,
guys
man.
get together,
Look how the church is attacked.
Mm-hmm.
but
You
you
know,
see all these groups that are, it's about bringing men together and bringing back a institution that has been lost. So when something like that happens, and the I don't know what you want to, the like these corporate media types and whoever they're involved with, they see that as a threat, or they see it as a threat. They end up having to lie about what their intentions are or what they're about, and vilify them as a type of mafia type organization, when in reality it's not even like that. It's guys meeting up, having some drinks, hanging out, sharing stupid
but
memes.
not to get too,
jokes.
we're not gonna,
Yeah, but that just
Yeah.
it's
But
just
yeah,
a group, and
but
that's the
but
problem.
here's the bigger thing though. Groups in general
Mm-hmm.
rival the power structure, the government. The government is a group,
Well, yeah,
okay, and it's the biggest group there is for us, until they're trying to make a bigger group right now. They're trying to make a world
Yeah.
group right now.
yeah, global.
But right now we're broken down to these different little
countries, or
little
however you would
groups.
call it, yeah.
Because if things get hot in this group, I'm going down to that little Costa Rica group.
I don't know.
Everybody believes in Catholicism stuff, and you live forever, and you have great weather, and you can eat awesome. What? Okay. Anyway, I shouldn't even give it away to anybody, but that's where I'll be. If you want to send a hit, if you're gonna send a hit man down to get me, that's where I'll be. So okay, but these groups rival any other kind of group. That's why I say separation of church and state was a must
Yeah.
for our founding fathers.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that was? Why do you think that was? It wasn't because church is bad.
No.
It was because we're going to tell you, because we know that this group here can get so crazy and out of control and we are allowed to worship whoever we want to,
Mm-hmm.
that there must be a separation of church and state where this group is allowed to exist. You scums who know that you're going to go nuts and get power hungry and try to consume everything around you who competes with you. So that's why you have the problem with the other groups that come about. Now, you have groups upon groups. We talked about this before, breaking down the groups. Groups is just politics. Politics is groups. And so you have the Republican Party. And then you have the REC, right? You have a smaller group within that. And then you have smaller groups within the REC of just people that meet together at coffee and things like that, and do things together, groups.
Oh,
Then you'll
yeah.
probably even have a smaller group like that. Look at
Yeah.
us, me and you and I, right?
And
You're involved with the West Palm, right?
So no, we're not gonna talk about anything at all about that. Anything,
no specifics.
yeah, no specifics. Anything. But I'm just my point is that groups are politics,
Yep.
and that group, there's not only does that, it shouldn't even be that. There's probably more of a, if I think about this, probably a better way to say it, but just humanity is a power structure. Like when we get together with each other, you rival, and which is so weird. Why do they allow the Black Lives Matter and things like that then?
Because the way that they push those agendas is that they're for peace.
They control them though.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Or something, or what? Or
Yes,
peace?
it's pushing their narrative. What they want is Black Lives Matter, as we know, isn't what it's portrayed as supposed to be as a Black Lives Matter, as something for the Black community. When you see what happened with this lady who has several mansions, over $6 million in real estate,
Mm-hmm.
She said that she's
Why are those
She's a
groups?
trained Marxist
Why are those groups allowed to prosper and flourish?
because they're bought
it's
by
allowed.
the left or by the media or by all of them. Where else do you think she got those 6 mansions and all the real estate and money? Really?
It's the liberal machine.
Yeah.
That's part of it. It's a culture, the part of the culture war.
Mm-hmm.
So it's allowed. If you're against the machine, then you're, all these names that they want to give. I don't know if you want me to say the names, but all those names that
Probably not.
are used to vilify people. So, it's to play with people's minds.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about mind control. I mean, like you said about the mafia, how they had to take them down internally.
Chris, you talking about Nazi is the word, right? That's like the main word.
That's one of them, yeah, for sure.
That's
My
a good one.
grandfather fought in World War II. He was in the U.S. Army, and people are gonna come out and call me certain names. It's ridiculous. It's disingenuous, and it's a smear tactic.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you lean to the right at all politically, that's one of their tactics. Now, why do they push leftists within government? Why do they push leftism within the current government, but they don't seem to push rightism, like within the culture?
It's because I truly believe that they want full power. They want. And
There's something about leftist thinking and thought that gets you subservient.
Well, because they believe that
there is no church for these people, right? I mean, that's part of it, right?
That's what I'm saying. Because they have, in my eyes, their faith, like where we talk about our logic meets our faith.
Right.
Their logic is science. Their faith is science. So there is no, in our way, barrier there. So they don't see it in like, oh, you can believe something different. Just what a faith is, a belief.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that because they only recognize science as it. That's it. Whatever is backed by their, actually, let me rephrase that. Whatever is backed by their science is the truth.
Right.
And they're going to go blue in the face. That's probably their color. Why it's their color. They go blue in the face until they convince you that you're wrong and they're right.
I know.
And that's what they want to push. And how else to do that than, in my eyes, indoctrinate the younger generation, getting them to think that?
Have you seen this, Chris? Look at this. Speaking of
At
science.
1 month old, the baby Rue, barely more than the size of a jelly bean, emerges from one of its mother's 2 uteri. Once it's outside her body, it grips her fur, and though it still hasn't developed eyes, it instinctively relies on its forelegs to crawl up towards her pouch. It takes a few minutes for the tiny Rue to reach the pouch. That's it, there. Within minutes, it reaches her pouch and latches on to its mother's teeth.
It kind of looks like a clump of cells, doesn't it?
The size of a jelly bean.
Kind of looks like a clump of cells.
Right?
Huh?
Yeah, it's like a little baby.
Looks like a clump of cells to me, bro. But anyway, look at this.
Oh, what do we know?
The Supreme Court is 3 for 3, man.
Yep.
Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. Guns, life, and prayer. Thank you, President Trump.
Mm-hmm. Well,
she's right. That's what she did. They laid the foundation. They laid the foundation. He led the foundation. You could say whatever you want about him, but what he did is, look at this.
This country was not founded on Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
It was founded on the premise of freedom of religion.
Mm-hmm.
We can choose to practice or not any religion.
Okay, yeah. All right, yeah.
This country, next one, this country was founded on Christian principles. How lucky are we in that it has developed into the freedom of practicing whatever religion we want. It's just sad that Christianity has been being legally
I disagree
attacked,
I disagree with
a
that
while.
guy though. I do disagree with that guy.
Mm.
I do, because I do think that you can it might have been founded on basics of Christian principles because a lot of people were Christian, but a lot of people were atheists too.
Yeah.
So that's not true.
I believe Ben Franklin was actually.
I don't believe all of that. I do think that you can practice whatever you want. I just think that you should practice something. That's all.
Well, and it's funny because atheism is even a religion in its sense. Continuing, there's another same folks saying don't have sex and you won't get pregnant. Believe in a religion based upon the idea that a woman didn't have sex and got pregnant. I hate to say this.
That's really good.
Oh, that's all.
That's really good. The same folks saying don't have sex and you won't get pregnant believe in a religion based upon the idea that a woman didn't have sex and got pregnant. Wow, that's funny.
Look, I have to put
that is hilarious.
Was a special case. That wasn't happening to every woman. That was one particular woman with the child of God's, what was it, begotten son?
I know.
So,
no, the human form.
It's a good joke, though. I get it.
That was I had and then I know it's cut off at the bottom there. And I didn't know what it says.
Yes,
though. It says, "Thank you. I cannot wait to guide my local high school football team in satanic prayer before the next game this school year."
Dude, of course you loved that. You sick.
Well, look, I'm not going to deny that. Look, you have freedom of religion.
Speaking about prayer and all this subject we're on, the thing about so they have the Church of Satan, which always comes out when it's supposed to be a joke, like, oh yeah, it's the Church of Satan, who cares? But they're the ones pushing that abortion is a religious right for them, and it's a practice that needs to be preserved for their religious needs. Yeah. So they say this as a joke, but if that's how Satan works, he deceives, he twists things. So, this is supposed to be a joke, but it's in reality what they want. So it's funny to see that people lining up in favor with what the Church of Satan has to say, or the Temple of Satan, and they pretend like it's a joke. But I call people out on that too. Say, hey, you're in line with the Temple of Satan. Is that what you believe? And they get all touchy about it, but it's true. That's how the devil works, deception.
You're right.
Yeah, that's it. And how else easier is it to divide everybody, or how easy is it to control everybody when you divide them?
Yeah,
that's.
So what do you think about our conversations today? We're winding down. We're gonna get to printing and things like that of that nature. Chris, what's your takeaway from today? I mean, we talked about, listen, we're going to do our prayer too. We're going to do our meditation and we're going to do our prayer. Do we have anybody else to our prayer list? Remember, love thy enemy.
People of Twitter is what I was going to put.
People of Twitter?
Yeah, meaning like all commenters. Instead of going by their name, just all the...
If that's what you want, whatever.
People of Twitter.
But then within the silence of your hearts too. And then, Lord, hear my prayer underneath it. Yes. That's what we're going to do.
So what do I think about the conversation? I think it's great what you're doing. It's just talking about religion, Christianity, and talking about what it means to you and other people in their lives, what it does for you, how you practice it, and what aspects of the Bible have significance to you. I think it's good information that can help people out with their lives, help them see something from a different point of view. And it's in my belief, Christianity is, I know that, if you read the news, they're going to say numbers are a record low and all this stuff. But I firmly believe that it's making a comeback, and God is touching people's hearts in ways that a lot of people don't see it. And
I think
the
that
more people, the merrier.
I think you're absolutely right. It's coming back, and I want people to realize that there's this thing out there called the Catholic Church, It's all over the place. They have them all over. You could probably find one really close to where you live. And they offer a service every single day of the week. What other denomination does that? I'm not downing any other denominations. I'm just saying, let's say you're a lapsed Catholic like Chris,
or like me. I'll put that.
Or
out
like
there.
you.
I am.
Chris. Now you went through a thing and you got back into it. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so before everything started, I was mentioning I started out going to different churches. I went to like a new wave church that somebody brought me to, and it was cool. It was like a lot of music, but I would go, I would feel hyped up. It would last a week. I started going, lasted 3 days, lasted 2 days. And before I knew it, it was like I felt hyped up for like 10 minutes after the service. And I said, there's got to be more to this. It can't be just I'm going to church to get hyped up for, off of, worship songs and stuff like that. So went through a couple different things. I ended up back at the Catholic Church. I went through a program during the pandemic. It's offered I encourage anyone, just, do what I did. Go around, see what works, talk to people, they'll invite you to church. If they're going to church, they'll invite you. Go inside the church, and every church they'll have a type of program. Even other churches, I was going to classes I did a few different things, but you'll go and they'll offer you, it's free. You go and they'll
They put
they
you
want
through
to
all
be
the
more involved with the
they
church.
put you through all
So
the
I did
sacraments.
something
They put you
through
through
the
all the
Catholic
sacraments,
Church.
basically. Sorry for cutting you off, but they put you through all the sacraments, basically, right?
Yeah,
And
they put me through the sacraments. I got anointed. You got to pick up the catechism.
catechism.
And they give you little assignments and stuff.
This,
Correction. That's Dr. Bob's copy.
I got Dr. Bob's copy. He said, "Here, this is for you until you get your own copy."
Yeah. And what did he say? Something like don't something. Don't like.
But isn't it awesome, Chris? Isn't it cool, man? Huh? Isn't
No,
the
it's good.
Catholic Church cool?
I like the Catholic Church. Yeah, for the history of it, for one thing, being the oldest church. It's more ritualistic. I like that. It's that's just me. I don't know. That's something I like. And it has these different ceremonies, and it has like a culture to it. It's nice. I like it.
Right.
And it's something that I think has been lost a bit, and it's going to make a comeback in one way or another. So, we know how the book ends.
Yeah, it's going to start coming back right now, I think, like hardcore within the culture. People are missing it. It's gone so much because there is a pendulum, and the secularism, it's so much that it becomes where everybody wants, like we say, like if you got curly hair, you want straight hair. If you got straight hair, you want curly hair. And it's like the stupid Star Bellies thing, dude. Star Bellies.
Yeah. Oh, that book.
If you know that from, Dr. Seuss.
Yeah.
I think it's somewhere
here. Either way.
But you always want what you don't have. You always want the opposite.
Yeah, the whole the grass is greener on the other side, but sometimes the grass is fake.
So we have no spirituality, no talk of anything higher. It's all satanic. It's all bad. It's all transgenderism and craziness and insanity.
Pride
World.
Month has turned into the whole year. I don't know if you noticed this year's Pride Month was like people were like, I'm sick of this. It's turned into a whole year thing, and it's not like, oh, congratulations, you like the same sex, who cares? It's like forced on people, Netflix, on everywhere. All these corporations are pushing it on people. It's gotten to the point where it's like you just want to live your life, and they make it really
so the only
in
thing
your
to
face.
do to cut through all that noise, sometimes I'm talking again. I'm sorry to cut you off, but sometimes to cut through that noise of all the insanity and the satanic stuff within the culture that's laced within the culture, that's product placed within the culture and everywhere. Sometimes the only way to cut through it is to go to mass, daily mass. It gets you peace. And I love it. St. Peter and St. Paul. I don't know why there's pictures of them kissing each other, but if you Google search them, the image is a lot of them kissing. But St. Peter and St. Paul, man, they're where it's at, dude. The church is just another power structure competing against power. You're gonna hear it, and maybe this, the church is compromised. Maybe this Pope is compromised. Who knows? But the truth is, if you look at the history yourself of the church and you put it in perspective, think of it as a family and how it was explained. And
last thing to add on to that, like it just hit me when we were talking about this.
Do the meditation. Yes.
Yeah. They talk about all the problem with the guns and all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to be on that topic a little bit. I just thought about this. But in the 40s, 50s, stuff like that, was it not a common thing for parents, both mother and father, to buy their son like a rifle, a hunting rifle? So when he turned 13, they can go hunting and kill a deer or whatever, become a man and all that.
There's other things though, the movies and stuff like that, the video games too. They didn't even understand like going.
No, right. But what I mean by that in general is that these were teenagers with firearms, but there was a difference. How much time did they go to spirituality? How much time were they spent reading like a Bible or something or?
A lot.
Really embracing that in their life.
A lot more back in the day. It was a lot more back in the day. A lot more prevalent. Now it's not. Now it's like non-existent.
Now look at the crime rates. Then look at the things that had happened to the world. Now what we're dealing with versus back then.
Correlation does not always equal causation.
No.
But anyway, it could be. It could be part of the pie chart. Let's do the meditation, man.
Mm-hmm.
So this is about the Apostolic Church. It's called the Apostolic Church. Is it Canon Francis J. Ripley? He's the writer of this one. All right. Essentially, outwardly and visibly, the church is apostolic in mission, apostolic in character, apostolic in teaching, and apostolic in descent. For centuries, the Catholic Church has fulfilled the mission given to the apostles by Christ. Go into the whole world and proclaim the gospel to every creature. She has never ceased to spread herself. The propagation of the faith has always been one of her first interests. History proves this. Beginning with the apostles themselves, the church has in every century numbered among her children missionary pioneers who have carried the gospel teaching even in the apparently impossible places of the earth. If you are in search of thrilling reading, obtain the lives of some of the great Catholic missionaries. More than that, the church is apostolic in character. Her organization is essentially the same as that of the church described for us in the Acts of the Apostles. She still has her bishops, priests, and deacons. She still speaks with that certain voice with which she sent out Barnabas and Paul from the Council of Jerusalem. Her missionaries still use the words of St. Paul to the Galatians. If anyone preaches to you a gospel other than the one that you received, let that one be accused. Or is that accursed? Accused.
No, accursed.
Accursed.
Yeah.
Accursed. Let that one be accursed. If anyone preaches to you a gospel other than the one that you received, let that one be accursed. The church is apostolic in teaching because her entire teaching represents the tradition she has inherited from the apostles and therefore from Christ. That was the great standby of the apostles themselves. They stood for Christ. They preached Christ. Therefore, she teaches not only the same doctrines as the apostles themselves taught, but she teaches exactly as they taught. Yet the most important elements in the mark of apostolicity is apostolicity in descent. Christ established his church under the supreme government of St. Peter. He said to St. Peter and his brother bishops that he would be with them always, even unto the end of the world, thus implying that they would in some way continue to rule the church. No man, living, dead, or yet to come, can point to any founder of the Catholic Church except Jesus Christ himself, who is God. From him and from him alone, the founding came. As St. Clement wrote in the very first century, Christ was sent by God, the apostles by Christ. Christ was sent by God, the apostles by Christ. Okay. I know you just they just discount all the apostles. In a lot of denominations.
Well, yeah, they do. I mean, again, the whole Judaism thing still doesn't even believe in Jesus being the Son of God.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I get why other denominations would pick and choose. That's basically what they're doing. They're picking and choosing what they want to hyper-focus or focus on even.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Outstanding. Pow.
It's been real.
Yeah, it has.
Chris, did you have fun? Good time, huh?
Good time. Thanks for
Appreciate
having
you
me.
being on, man.
Yeah. God bless.
God bless, bro. You gonna go to mass?
Yeah, I'll go to mass. You should come down here and let's make it happen.
Yeah. Do you think you're gonna be getting? Maybe, what do you think about getting maybe into it on a daily basis thing? Try that out. What do you think?
I want to try that out. I want to see how it goes and take your word for it. It's got to be beneficial.
You're gonna start doing the daily thing, and then you get on here and you let us know. How about when you start doing it, then you'll see what's up. How everything is the same universally. They teach the same thing.
I'm gonna do it. I'll do it.
Good. Yeah, guys. It was fun.
Thank you to all of our listeners and all of our viewers. Mm-hmm. And please like, subscribe, and share.
Yep.
Share with your friends because
we are uniting the Christians with truth instead of dividing us with lies.
And we are also on Spotify and Rumble and soon all
social media platforms. Hopefully, if Elon Musk takes over Twitter.
Have faith.
Because that's messed up, man. You can't even survive or even participate in society or what?
I know.
So dumb. First world problems.
Outstanding. Pow.